Have you ever actually practiced being alone? Not just being by yourself, but truly being alone, without reaching for a distraction, without escaping into someone else's presence, just you and your thoughts. Because if we're being honest, no one teaches you how to do that. And for me, honestly, I never had to learn. Growing up, I was always surrounded by people, family, friends, roommates. There was always company, there was always distractions, always an easy escape. If I ever felt uncomfortable, I could just walk into someone else's room, start a conversation, and that feeling would go away. And I thought that was normal. But what I didn't realize was that I wasn't practicing independence, I was practicing avoidance. Even living in Canada for the past 7 years and being more responsible, I always had a safety net, friends that became like family, a shared life, shared responsibilities, shared distractions. And without even realizing, I was leaning onto that more than I thought. And 2 weeks ago, that changed. I moved into my own place. And I'm not going to lie, the idea of it always felt uncomfortable. Like quiet felt like loneliness. Solitude felt like something to avoid. And what surprised me is that it's been the complete opposite. For the first time, it feels like everything is mine. My time, my space, my decisions, and my responsibility. There's no one to blame if something doesn't get done, and there's also no one in the way of what can get done. And when you realize that, something starts changing. You start optimizing without even trying. Like your routines get more organized, your environment starts reflecting you, your habits become more intentional. Even the small things like what you eat, when you clean, how you spend your time, it all starts getting aligned. Because there's no friction, there's no negotiation, there's no escape. Just you. And maybe that's the part that we're not prepared for. It's not that being alone is hard, it's just that we haven't practiced for it yet. We've been conditioned to believe that if you are alone, you're missing something. And if you aren't surrounded by people, something must be wrong. What if it's the opposite of that? What if being alone is where you finally stop performing and start understanding who you really are? Now, don't get me wrong, this isn't about isolating yourself. I am grateful for every person who's been a part of my journey. Those years, those memories, they've all shaped me. But there comes a time where you have to remove the distractions so you can hear yourself think. And for me right now, it feels like that chapter. It's obviously new, it's uncomfortable, but it's also exciting. Because for the first time, it feels like I've been given full control over my life. And I am starting to realize that maybe solitude isn't something to fear. Maybe it's something to practice. So I'll ask you once again, have you ever actually practiced being alone? Thank you for listening. I'll see you guys next week.